Hello again, thank you for watching and liking our channel. Please subscribe for more videos. We are back again for the next episode of the legend Pele's life, career and life after football. Now let us start with World Cup 1962. When the 1962 World Cup started, Pele was the best-rated player in the world. In the first match of the 1962 World Cup in Chile, against Mexico, Pele assisted the first goal and scored the second one. After a run past 4 defenders, to go up 2-0. He got injured in the next game while attempting a long-range shot against Czechoslovakia. This would keep him out of the rest of tournament and forced coach Amor Moreira to make his only lineup change of the tournament. The substitute was Amarildo, who performed well for the rest of the tournament. However, it was Garrincha who would take the leading role and carry Brazil to their second World Cup title, after beating Czechoslovakia at the final in Santiago. At the time, only players were changed in 1978 to include the entire squad, with Pele receiving his winner's medal retroactively in 2007. 1966 World Cup. Pele was the most famous in the world during the 1966 World Cup in England, and Brazil fielded some world champions like Garrincha, Gilmar and Jaime Santo, with the addition of other stars like Jairzinho, Tostão and Gerson, leading to high expectations for them. Brazil was eliminated in the first round, playing only 3 matches. The World Cup is marked, among other things, for brutal fouls on Pele that left him injured by the Bulgarian and Portuguese defenders. Pele scored the first goal from a free kick against Bulgaria, becoming the first player to score in 3 successive FIFA World Cups, but due to his injury, a result of persistent fouling by the Bulgarians, he missed the second game against Hungary. His coach stated that after the first game he felt every team will take care of him in the same manner. Brazil lost that game and Pele, although still recovering, was brought back for the last crucial match against Portugal at Goodison Park in Liverpool by the Brazilian coach Vicente Fiola. Fiola changed the entire defense, including the goalkeeper, while in midfield he returned to the formation of the first match. During the game, Portugal defender João Moreira fouled Pele, but was not sent off by referee George McCabe, a decision retrospectively viewed as being among the worst refereeing error in World Cup. Brazil lost the match against the Portuguese led by Eusebio and were eliminated from the tournament as a result. After this game, he vowed he would never again play in the World Cup, a decision he would late change. 1970 World Cup. 1970 World Cup. Pele was called to the national team in early 1969, he refused at first, but then accepted and played in 6 World Cup qualifying matches, scoring 6 goals. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico was expected to be Pele's last. Brazil's squad for the tournament featured major changes to the 1966 squad. Players like Garrincha, Nilton Santos, Balder Pereira, Jalma Santos, and Gilma had already retired. However, Brazil 1970 World Cup squad, which included players like Pele, Rivellino, Jairzinho, Gerson, Carson, Carlos Alberto Torres, Tostão, and Clodoaldo, is often considered to be the greatest football team in history. The front 5 of Jairzinho, Pele, Gerson, Tostão, and Rivellino together created an attacking momentum, with Pele having a central role in Brazil's way to the final. All of Brazil's matches in the tournament except the final were played in Guadalajara, and in the first match against Czechoslovakia, Pele gave Brazil a 2-1 lead by controlling Gerson's long pass with his chest and the scoring. In this match Pele attempted to lob goalkeeper Ivo Victor from the halfway line, only narrowly missing the Czechoslovak goal. Brazil went on to win the match 4-1. In the first half of the match against England, Pele nearly scored with a header that was saved by the England goalkeeper Gordon Banks. Pele recalled he was already shouting "goal" when he headed the ball. It was often referred to as "save of the century." In the second half, he controlled a cross from Tostão before flicking the ball to Jairzinho, who scored the only goal. Against Romanian, Pele scored 2 goals, which included a 20-yard bending free kick, with Brazil winning 3-2. In the quarter-final, Brazil won 4-2, with PELE assisting Tostão for Brazil's third goal. In the semi-final, Brazil faced Uruguay for the first time since the 1950 World Cup final round match. Jairzinho put Brazil ahead 2-1, and PELE assisted Rivellino for the 3-1. During that match, PELE made bone of his famous plays. Tostão passed the ball for PELE to collect, which Uruguay's goalkeeper Ladislau Mazurkiewicz took notice of and ran his line to get the ball before PELE. However, PELE got there first and fooled Mazurkiewicz with a feint by not touching the ball, causing it to roll to the goalkeeper's left. While PELE went to the goalkeeper's right, PELE ran around the goalkeeper to retrieve the ball and took a shot while turning towards the goal, but he turned in excess as he shot, and the ball drifted just wide of the far post. Brazil played Italy in the final at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. PELE scored the opening goal with a header after out-jumping Tolina defender Tarcísio Bergnic. Brazil's 100th World Cup goal, PELE's leap of joy into arms of teammates. Jairzinho, in celebrating the goal, is regarded as one of the most iconic moments in World Cup history. He then made assist for Brazil's third goal, scored by Jairzinho, and the fourth finished by Carlos Alberto. The last goal of the game is often considered the greatest team goal of all time because it involved all but two of the team's outfield players. The play culminated after PELE made a blind pass that went into Carlos Alberto's running trajectory. H came running from behind and struck the ball to score. Brazil won the match 4-1, keeping the Jules Rimet trophy indefinitely, and PELE received the Golden Ball as the player of the tournament. Bergnic, who marked PELE during the final, was quoted saying, "I told myself before the game, he's made of skin and bones just like everyone else, but I was wrong." In terms of his goals and assists throughout the 1970 World Cup, PELE was directly responsible for 53% of Brazil's goals throughout the tournament. Pele's last international match was on July 18, 1971 against Yugoslavia in Rio de Janeiro. With PELE on the field, the Brazilian team's record was 67 wins, 17 draws, 11 losses. Brazil never lost a match while fielding both PELE and Garrincha. PELE has also been known for connecting the phrases "the beautiful game" with football. A profile goal scorer, he was known for his ability to anticipate in the area and finish off chances with an accurate and powerful shot with either foot. PELE was also a hard-working team player and a complete forward, with exceptional vision and intelligence, who was recognized for his precise passing and ability to link up with teammates and provide them with assists. In his early career, he played in a variety of attacking positions. Although he usually operated inside the penalty area as a main striker or center forward, his ranger or skills also allowed him to play in more than withdrawn role, as an insider forward or second striker, out wide. In his career, he took on more of a deeper playmaking role behind the strikes, often functioning as an attacking midfielder. Pele's unique playing style combined speed, creativity, and technical skill with physical power, stamina, and athleticism. His excellent technique, balance, flair, agility, and dribbling skills enabled him to beat opponents with the ball, and frequently saw him use sudden changes of direction and elaborate feints in order to get past players, such as his trademark move, the dribble de vaca. Another one of his signature moves was the paradinha, or little stop. Despite his relatively small stature, 1.73 meters, 5 feet 8 inches, he excelled in the air, due to his heading accuracy, timing, and elevation. Renowned for his bending shots, he was also an accurate free-kick taker and penalty taker, although he often refrained from taking penalties, stating that he believed it to be a cowardly way to score. PELE was also known to be a fair and highly influential player, who stood out for his charismatic leadership and sportsmanship on the pitch. His warm embrace of Bobby Moore following the Brazil vs England game at the 1970 World Cup is viewed as the embodiment of sportsmanship, with the New York Times stating the image captured the respect that two great players had for each other. As they exchanged jerseys, touches, and looks, the sportsmanship between them is all in the image. No gloating, no fist-pumping from Pelé. No despair, no defeatism from Bobby Moore. Pelé also earned a reputation for often being a decisive player for his teams, due to his tendency to score crucial goals in important matches. Among the most successful and popular sports figures of the 20th century, Pelé is one of the most lauded players in the history of football and has been frequently ranked the best player ever. Following his emergency at the 1958 World Cup, he was nicknamed O Rei the King. Among his contemporaries, Dutch star Johan Cruyff stated, Pelé was the only footballer who surpassed the boundaries of logic. Brazil's 1970 World Cup winning captain Carlos Alberto Torres opined, his great secret was improvisation. Those things he did were in one moment. He had an extraordinary perception of the game. According to Tosteo, his strict partner at the 1970 World Cup, Pelé was the greatest, he was simply flawless. And off the pitch he is always smiling and upbeat. You never see him bad-tempered. He loves being Pelé. His Brazilian teammate Clodoaldo commented on the audition he witnessed. In some countries they wanted to touch him, in some they wanted to kiss him. In other they even kissed the ground he walked on. I thought it was beautiful, just beautiful. According to Franz Beckenbauer, West Germany's 1974 World Cup winning captain, Pelé is the greatest player of all time. He reigned supreme for 20 years. There's no one to compare with him. Former Real Madrid and Hungary star Ferenc Puskás stated the greatest player in history was Di Stefano. I refuse to classify Pelé as a player. He was above that. Just Fontaine, French striker and leading scorer at the 1958 World Cup, said, when Pelé is a play, it made me feel I should hang up my boots. England's 1996 FIFA World Cup winning captain Bobby Moore commented, Pelé was the most complete player I have ever seen, he had everything. 2 good feet. Magic in the air. Quick. Powerful. Could beat people with skill. Could outrun people. Only 5 feet and 8 inches tall, yet he seemed a giant of athlete on the pitch. Perfect balance and impossible vision. He was the greatest because he could do anything and everything on a football pitch. I remember Saldanha, the coach, being asked by a Brazilian journalist who the best goalkeeper in his squad was. He said Pelé. The man could play in any position. Former Manchester United striker and member of England's 1996 FIFA World Cup winning team Sir Bobby Charlton stated, I sometimes feel as though football was invented for this magical player. During the 1970 World Cup, when Manchester United defender Paddy Crerand, who was part of the ITV panel, was asked, how do you spell Pelé, he replied, easy God. Since retiring, Pelé continued to be lauded by players, coaches, journalists and others. Brazilian attacking midfielder Zico, who represented Brazil at the 1978, 1982 and 1986 FIFA World Cup, stated, this debate about the player of the century is absurd. There's only one possible answer. Pelé. He's the greatest player of all time, and by some distance. I might add, French 3-time Ballon d'Or winner Michel Platini said, there's Pelé the man, and then Pelé the player, and to play like Pelé is to play like God. Diego Maradona, joint FIFA Player of the Century, and the player Pelé is historically compared with, stated, it's too bad we never got along, but he was awesome player. Prolific Brazilian striker Romario, winner of the 1994 FIFA World Cup and player of the tournament, remarked, it's only inevitable I look up to Pelé. He's like God to us. 5-time FIFA Ballon d'Or winner Cristiano Ronaldo said, Pelé is the greatest player in football history, and there will only be one Pelé, while Jose Mourinho, 2-time UEFA Champions League winning manager, commented, I think he is football. You have the real special one, Mr. Pelé. Real Madrid honorary president and former player Alfredo Di Stefano opined, "The best player ever? Pelé." Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are both great players with specific qualities, but Pelé was better. Presenting Pelé with the Lourdes Lifetime Achievement Award, former South African President Nelson Mandela said, "To watch him play was the delight of a child combined with the extraordinary grace of a man in full." U.S. politician and political scientist Henry Kissinger stated, "Performance at a high level in any sport is to exceed the ordinary human scale. But Pelé's performance at a high level in any sport is to exceed the ordinary star by as much as the star exceeds ordinary performance." After a reporter asked if his fame compared to that of Jesus, Pelé joked, "There are parts of the world where Jesus Christ is not so well known." The artist Andy Warhol, who painted a portrait of Pelé, also quipped, "Pelé was one of the few who contradicted my theory. Instead of 15 minutes of fame, he will have 15 centuries." Barney Ronay, writing for The Guardian, stated, "What is certain is that Pelé invented this game, the idea of individual global sporting superstardom, and in a way that is unrepeatable now." In 2000, the International Federation of Football History and Statistica IFFHS voted Pelé their World Player of the Century. In 1999, the International Olympic Committee elected him the Athlete of the Century, and Time magazine named Pelé one of the 100 most important people of the century. During his playing days, Pelé was for a period the highest-paid athlete in the world. Pelé's electrifying play and penchant for spectacular goals made him a star around the world. To take full advantage of his popularity, his teams toured internationally. During his career, he became known as the King, the Black Pearl et Parola Negra, the King of Football, Au Rey du Football, the King Pelé, Au Rey Pelé, or simply the King, Au Rey. In 2014, the city of Santos inaugurated the Pelé Museum Museu Pelé, which displays a 2,400-piece collection of Pelé memorabilia. Approximately $22 million was invested in the construction of the museum, housed in a 19th-century mansion. In January 2014, Pelé was awarded the first-ever FIFA Ballon d'Or Prix d'Honneur as an acknowledgement from the world governing body of the sport for his contribution to world football. After changing the rules in 1995, France Football did an extensive analysis in 2015 of the players who would have won the award if it was open for them since 1956, the year the Ballon d'Or award started. Their study revealed that Pelé would have received the award a record 7 times, Ballon d'Or, le nouveau palmarès. The O-ring recipients, however, remain unchanged. In 2020, Pelé was named in the Ballon d'Or Dream Team. A greatest all-time 11. According to the RSSSF, Pelé was one of the most successful goal scorer in the world, scoring 538 league goals, a total of 775 in 840 official games, and a tally of 1,301 goals in 1,390 appearances during his professional senior career, which included friendlies and tour games. He is ranked among the leading scorers in football history in both official and total matches. After his retirement in 1977, he played 8 exhibition games and scored 3 goals.